Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and we're doing another weekend wrap up on a Monday evening with our favorite guest of all time, Jason Cameron. How's it going, buddy?
It's going really good. It's going really good. It's a little cold out there today.
Yeah.
A little bit of snow. That was surprising.
That was sure a shock this morning. Yeah, I had heard there was supposed to be a bit of snow, but most people didn't. And so waking up to that was big shock because we're not used to that around here.
No, we are not. And for good reason, because we're on the West Coast. We don't want to see snow like ever.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say ever. I should say there's one day that I will allow snow to fall. Christmas.
Yeah.
And then after Christmas is done, it can go away.
Go away, yeah. I don't mind it up on the mountains, you can go and visit it if you want to, but in the city, it just causes chaos and havoc, and it sucks to walk around in, and yeah, so no fun. I'm not a snow guy, forget that. I live in this city, so I don't have to deal with snow. Rest of Canada can be blanketed, but screw that. This is a good city because it doesn't really ever snow.
Yes, it's a perfect city for that. That's why I like it too. It's supposed to be warm always.
Yeah. There's we're gonna get into football talk, UFC talk, NBA talk as usual, but the biggest news in our city, Vancouver, BC, Canada, is the Canucks have cleaned house. 8 years of the Jim Benning era has come to a close. Many years with Travis Green behind the bench, and it was not working. They were last in their division last year, and they have tumbled to the bottom again this year. Not good. So fired Jim Benning, Travis Green, and in comes Stan Smeel, interim GM, Canucks legend. The Sedins are going to be having a lot of say now, and Bruce Boudreau, the new coach. What do you think of the little clip that I showed you of Boudreau today with his motivational talk in the dressing room?
No nonsense, Bruce Boudreau. I loved it, actually. I loved it. Yeah. Basically, he was calling his team a bunch of crybabies and stop crying and play.
Yeah.
Play harder if you want to win.
Yeah.
Maybe that's exactly what the Canucks need. Maybe they've been coddled so much.
Yeah.
That they forgot that, hey, at the end of the day, we're actually professionals here. And we're supposed to be giving our all or playing as a team or like winning. Well, okay, a lot of those things they can't do yet. But hopefully the culture can change, and Bruce Boudreau and Stan Smeel, along with the Steens, they can bring into the Canucks a winning culture, because clearly what they had before wasn't working.
No, it was really bad, and basically the end was the Canucks fans were chanting "Fire Benning" on Saturday night as they were losing to the Penguins 4-1, and a fan took his jersey off, threw it on the ice, and said, "That's it, I'm done with this team." And it's amazing that, honestly, probably that jersey toss changed the whole entire makeup of the Canucks team, and they make some massive changes. I think a lot of people are really happy with that guy for finally throwing that nail in the coffin and tossing his jersey. Probably cost him $200, but saved a lot more grief for this fan base here.
Yes, it did, and it saved him some grief too, because now that he's free of being a Canucks fan, he can pick a winner. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. But also too, I think the owners, the Aquilinis, were kind of like, okay, yeah, we want to win now, so we're just going to change everything, which is probably a good idea, because, again, whatever they were trying to do, which, well, I have a question mark on, and so does the rest of the fan base. We don't know what they were trying to do, but it wasn't working. Whatever they were trying to do wasn't working.
Sure wasn't. It was tough. Yeah, so they have so much potential. You thought this was going to be a great year, and they just have fallen flat coming out of the gate. It's been tough, to be our main professional team here. The radio waves are always talking about the Canucks. They're talking about Canucks everywhere you go. And when the team is terrible like this, it's hard to be around this city. So let's hope things change. We are currently in the fourth quarter in the Monday Night Football game. Week 13 of the NFL ends tonight, and it's a big divisional week. This is a big divisional battle, and the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills in really, really tough conditions. Crazy enough, the Patriots' first 43 plays, one pass, 42 runs. They've decided they do not want to throw the ball at all. Gusts up to 50 to 55 miles an hour. Wind is 25 to 35 miles an hour, left to right. Temperature is 36 degrees, feels like 23. So for people north of the border here, that's about minus 12, something like that. Frigid conditions, but crazy. They're not even really attempting to throw the ball. Buffalo has been, but Patriots just threw that right out the mix and said, no, we're not throwing the ball. We're just going to run it the whole entire game.
Well, yeah, I think Billy, look at Bill. Look at that hoodie. Yeah, still not smiling. Anyways, so Bill is just probably figuring to himself, I got a young quarterback. I'm going to need to protect him. So you know what? We'll just run the ball.
Yeah.
Like always, the whole time.
Yeah.
Every play is a run.
Must be easy on the Bills' defensive scheme. They just don't even have to bother in pass coverage. Just get stop the run. But New England's winning. They're 8-4, top of the division, half a game ahead of Buffalo. They're winning 14-10, and Buffalo's marching right now. We'll see what happens, but they just missed a field goal. You said aim to the left, and he didn't, and he missed right. So you saw it, he didn't. I don't know how.
Yeah, because like I saw it with the Patriots kicker when he hit his field goal. He hit it straight to the left, and the wind pushed it into the middle. It's I don't know. It's simple physics for me, but I guess it was hard for that kicker.
Jeez. Yeah, not cool. Yeah. You'd think he'd be looking at the other guy and trying to gauge the wind conditions and put his finger up and get a little test. But no, that was a horrible miss. But Buffalo's marching. 3:45 left. We'll give you a couple more updates, I'm sure, before the end of this. Mac Jones has he has completed his second pass. He's got 19 yards through the air for the entire game. Damian Harris is the big recipient of the ball on the ground. 10 carries, 111 yards with the TD. And Stevenson has 22 carries for 74 yards. So, but crazy. Patriots looking for their, seventh win in a row here?
Yeah, but that in itself is crazy. Never thought we'd be at a point at all in this season where we'd be talking about the Patriots coming up on possibly their seventh win. Amazing.
Yeah, they'd be a top team in the AFC if they can pull off this win. And as I said, we'll keep some updates. So week 13, it was basically rivalry week. They had many divisional games. Chiefs and Broncos, Ravens, Steelers, Colts and Texans, Hawks, Niners, Vikings, Lions, Bucks and Falcons, and this game here. I love those rivalry games. Usually a lot of fun to watch and a lot of animosity. They dig up a lot of stats out of all the matchups they've had over the years. Usually this is a really fun weekend.
Yeah, of course. It's a great weekend because it's like all that animosity, all that stuff comes out for this weekend, and then they go after each other. And it makes for great games, usually.
Yeah, usually really good. Yeah. So let's turn to the NFC like we normally do. Top team in the league and has been for most of the season, Arizona Cardinals, sitting at 10-2. Kyler Murray finally returned after a 3-game absence and the bye week, helped Arizona to a 33-22 win. Topped the NFC West, NFC Conference. Kyler didn't throw too much. I guess they were holding him back a little bit, but he had two TD passes and two runs himself. James Conner had a big game. DeAndre was back as well. Great to see him recovering a little bit from his hamstring injury. Only had 2 catches, 32 yards, but he had a TD. I can't believe Arizona was so good without Kyler, but he's back now, 10-2, looking like they are the front runners big time for that bye, and maybe a straight shot to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they look fantastic. They looked great against the Bears. It was great that Murray and Hopkins were able to make their triumphant return for a win. And Murray, they didn't have him pass too much, but he still looked sharp. 11-15, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like you said, he got 2 touchdowns on the ground himself. Super dangerous on his with his legs as well. They couldn't have asked for a better return for both players. They couldn't have.
And their defense stepped up big time, picked off Andy Dalton 4 times on Sunday. Chicago was relying heavily on David Montgomery, but probably Andy Dalton's worst game. And that's saying something because he's had some bad games out there, but that Arizona defense stepping up huge and getting 4 picks.
Yeah, their defense stepped up huge, very much limited the Bears' offense. And with that being said, the Bears were never really in it. Not in this particular game. Cardinals had complete control and were, in my opinion, never really threatened.
Yeah. The Cardinals battle the division rival Rams 1 week from tonight, Monday Night Football. So that'll be a huge division game to look forward to. Those teams always battle it really hard, and especially lately.
Yeah. That'll be the marquee matchup for sure. Going forward with those 2 teams getting after each other. Looking forward to seeing that game. Yeah.
Speaking of the Rams, they had a great 7-1 start, 3 straight losses, having back to 7-4 now. But they got a great recipe for breaking that streak. Had Jacksonville Jaguars come to town. They were able to stomp them 37-7. Stafford had a great game. Sony Michel filling in for Henderson had a huge game as well. Cooper Kupp, as always, 8 catches, 129 yards and a TD. Lots of weapons there for the Rams, and really easy victory over the Jags.
Yeah, the Rams defense dominated the Jags, holding them to under 200 yards and forced 2 turnovers. And what can I say about the Jags? Okay, I guess I did. I just said it. Nothing. There's nothing. No, it really isn't. Lawrence is still going to struggle. He doesn't have the weapons. He's a rookie, and he's kind of running for his life back there with a somewhat porous offensive line. So, yeah, he's doing his best, but he can't do much with what he's got.
No, sure can't. Yeah, it's tough there. Really rough. Okay, we got 2:15 left. Bills are marching.
Ooh.
3rd and 9. It'll be a 4-down territory here.
Run it.
They'll probably be able to get 2 plays off before the 2-minute warning.
Ball sailed on.
Right for Diggs there in the end zone, but yeah, it looks like the ball's sailing with the wind.
Yeah, well, he's just gonna have to be perfect. That's all he's got to do.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to Montana this thing in.
Let's see what Josh Allen does here. 3rd and 9 from the 13-yard line.
Oh, there's a penalty.
Flag on the play.
Okay,
we've already touched on the NFC West. Let's talk about the other 2 teams. The Hawks and Niners faced each other. Seahawks were able to beat the Niners like they usually do, 30-23. Hawks have been reeling big time, but nice big victory for them, 30-23 win over the Niners, and hopefully getting back on track a little bit.
Yeah. Like it was nice that the Seahawks managed to get this win. They did a lot of things right in this game. Wilson actually had a good game, 30-37, 231 yards, 2 touchdowns. And AP, Adrian Peterson actually had a touchdown this game. I just love pointing out that, he can still run the ball, still getting touchdowns. That's awesome. Yeah. Tyler Lockett also had a touchdown in this game. But basically the reason why the 49ers lost this game, because they had too many turnovers. And that's what cost them the game.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you mentioned Adrian Peterson. That was his 126th touchdown in his career, tied Jim Brown on the all-time list. Jerry Rice still top of the list with 208 touchdowns. Emmitt Smith, 175. Then LaDainian Tomlinson, 162. Randy Moss, 157. Terrell Owens, 156. Marcus Allen, 145. Marshall Falk, 136. Chris Carter's in there, 131. Marvin Harrison, 128. Jim Brown and Adrian Peterson both tied at 126, just past Walter Payton at 125. So Adrian Peterson coming up into Hall of Fame territory. He didn't have a great game, 11 carries, 16 yards. That's only a yard and a half average, but still punching in a touchdown. He got, I think he got 1 or 2 for the Titans, and Seahawks have brought him in to, I guess, be in short yardage situations and get some more touchdowns.
Yeah, well, he can still do the short yardage thing, clearly, and it's good to see that he still has something to give, something to contribute to a team. I'm glad he's on the team. The Seattle needs literally all the help they can get. So yeah, and it's a good pickup by them.
The only trouble that the Hawks had was Gerald Everett. He had 2 fumbles and a horrible interception that he caused. Ball was right in his hands, falls trying to get it, and kicks it up. Basically kicked it right to the defender. I saw you watch that play today and went, whoa.
Yeah, he might as well have just said here and just given it to the defender like that. He gift wrapped that. He really did gift wrap that interception. It was too bad, but at least the good thing is the Hawks still won the game.
Yeah, they sure did. So Seahawks go to Houston early Sunday, and the 49ers go to Cincy. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other top teams in the NFC. We've got the Packers 9-3 leading their division on a bye week. Buccaneers, another top team in the NFC. They sit at 9-3. Tom Brady had a monster game, as did his whole entire receiving core. Godwin had a Tampa Bay record with the most catches by a receiver in a game this whole entire year out of the whole league. 15 catches, 143 yards. Evans was 7 for 99. And Gronk was 4 for 58 with a couple TDs. They were just firing on all cylinders. They're looking really, really sharp right now.
Yeah, and also too, Brady loves playing the Falcons. Loves it so much because he's never lost to them. Never. There was that one time where he was supposed to lose, but still didn't even lose that game. But we won't talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. Right. Brady, 38 of 51, 368 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then the Bucs defensive front overwhelmed Atlanta's offensive line all game. Bucs defense finishes with 5 sacks in total. Completely overwhelmed the Falcons. And then that's what you get playing against Tom Brady for the Falcons. A loss.
Yeah, that's amazing that he's never lost to them in his whole entire career. That's pretty wild. Gronk had the 2 touchdowns, like I said, and Brady and Gronk become the second most prolific touchdown duo, quarterback receiver duo of all time. That was their 90th touchdown together, just trailing Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison, who are number 1. So Gronk must be super happy. He's still getting hit pretty bad, but getting a couple more touchdowns and getting up into that upper echelon, solidifying a Hall of Fame career himself.
Yeah, and all he had to do was play with the best to have ever thrown a football. That's all he had to do. That's all he had to do.
Easy.
Pretty easy.
No doubt. Hey, he must be happy he gets to play with the GOAT all the time. Leonard Fournette slacking off, 4 touchdowns last week, only 1 this week. Don't know what the hell's wrong with him. He must be having a definite off game. 4 TDs last week, 1 this week. Quite disappointing.
Well, I think Fournette just wanted to spread it around to his teammates and say, you know what, he did all the heavy lifting last game, and let some of you guys enjoy, the spoils. So here, get a couple touchdowns.
Right.
Get in there and enjoy it.
The Bucs defense is absolutely phenomenal. They let Ryan have a pretty decent game, but he couldn't find any receivers for touchdowns. They just were bending but not breaking at all.
Yes, bending and not breaking, that's for sure. The Bucs defense was stout against the Falcons offense. And it's not like the Falcons didn't actually have a good offensive run. Matty Ice, 30 of 41 for 297 yards. But when it came down to the scoring possibilities and chances and opportunities, couldn't do it because the Bucs defense was too stout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Bucs now have a 4-game lead in their division. That's pretty much wrapped up. They play the Bills next Sunday, the 125 window. That'll be a stiff test, and we'll see. It looks like the Patriots are going to win this game. I think they just stopped them on 4th down, and they're just going to run the ball out. Buffalo has 1 timeout, it looks like, so I think they might be able to get the ball if they don't get a first down, but we'll see. As I mentioned, the Packers are 9-3, also have a 4-game lead in their division with the bye week. They play the Bears on the Sunday nighter coming up, so that should be a pretty good game. The only other NFC team that really deserves mentioning at the top is Dallas, who beat the Saints on Thursday and sit 8-4, comfortably on top of the NFC East and looking all right. I guess we could mention Washington. They won a tight one against Vegas. It was basically Antonio Gibson versus Josh Jacobs. Gibson had 28 touches. Jacobs had 22. And super dominant performance by Gibson. But a really tight one, 17-15 over the Raiders.
Yeah, really tight. Heineke continues to play well. Had another solid outing, 23 of 30, 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he did enough to beat the Raiders, who are spiraling right now. They can't seem to be doing anything right at this point in time.
I mentioned the Raiders, and we had some information that came out today about Kenyon Drake. He broke his ankle and was taken off on a stretcher, gone for the rest of the season, and he shed a lot of light on a problem that he sees in the NFL right now. I've got a couple quotes from him. He said, the NFL needs to look at this specific style of tackling. And he shared a graphic video of the injury in his post. He said they're throwing flags for taunting and protecting quarterbacks from getting touched. But this is my 2nd straight season being injured by a guy pulling me back and using his body weight to just roll up my legs. And it happened again for the 2nd year. He goes on to say, if the emphasis is to protect the players, this should be an illegal form of tackling like a horse collar. We lose players weekly to high ankle sprains and broken bones, but the league would rather flag players for erroneous taunting penalties. Let's get our priorities together. I fully agree with him, especially I can't believe all the crap that's been going on about the taunting, and you basically blow on a quarterback these days and you get a 15-yard penalty. It's really starting to bother me because The NFL injury list is just so massively long every week, and we can't have guys targeting guys' legs and taking them out. This is the second straight year he's going to miss. The Raiders have been decimated with injuries to the running back position. And yeah, I think he's bang on with these comments.
Yeah, he definitely has a point. He most certainly has a point where he's just like, I think our priority should be on, like the fundamentals of the game. And that should be legislated out of the game, that kind of tackling. And he's absolutely right, because look at how many people it's injury. Look at how many players are being injured. Your superstar players that represent the NFL and represent the league, now can't play in the game because they're hurt. So yes, he does have a point. And yes, they should look at it. They should.
Yeah.
Or else, then you just have guys like Derrick Henry, who everybody wants to see, but now you can't watch him because he's injured. So I think he does bring up a valid point. It's something that the NFL should look into for sure. Yeah. And yes, I know obviously taunting and the sportsmanship, yes, that's important. But these injuries, I think, are really important as well to address.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, I'm glad he shed some light on it, and hopefully some of the people in the rules committee and the referees can, start addressing it, because we don't want to see these superstars getting injured and possibly shortening their careers. It's not cool at all. Okay, we've covered the NFC East, except for the finally hell has frozen over and the Detroit Lions have a victory. I thought they were going to go the whole entire year without a win, but they pulled off a victory against the Minnesota Vikings. Dan Campbell finally doesn't have to cry this week, and Jared Goff celebrated like he won the Super Bowl. They have a win. Can you believe it?
No, I thought it was a typo, to be honest with you. I was like, oh, that can't be right. Just going to change the channel, see if that's actually a real thing. Oh, and it was. I was like, oh, my goodness, they won. Way to go, man. And impressive win, actually. Impressive that it took them a year to win another game.
364 days it was since win. So, congratulations. They dedicated the victory, Dan Campbell did, to the people that were lost in the latest school shooting in Michigan. Shocking that this continues to be something that we see on a yearly basis. Many of these school shootings, it's just tragic. I can't believe this keeps going on, and they have to deal with this so often down there.
Yeah, and what's actually even more tragic is the fact that we're getting used to it. Yeah. And that is super problematic. This should be something that we should never, ever, ever get used to.
Okay. Yeah.
But
it's rough to hear about that. Okay, so the Patriots have won their 7th in a row. They started 2-4. Now they sit at 9-4, top seed in the AFC, and the Hoodie pulled off a win. Their play selection tonight was 45 runs, 3 passes, and those conditions helped them. Now they got a 1.5 game lead on the AFC East and the top team in the whole entire conference. Shocking for everyone. A lot of people started questioning maybe it was Brady that was the genius and the reason why they won all those titles there, because he won this one last year. But after one down year, boom, they're right back up and top of the conference.
Well, I guess you could say that Belichick had a little something to do with it, I guess. Just a little bit. But let's be honest, they're a team, they're a duo. They both had each other to boost the Patriots into this freaking godlike team or godlike run that they had, right? So, and hey, the Hoodie can still coach, clearly, and he still knows what he's doing, clearly. Because how many other coaches could win a game like that by passing the ball, what did you say, 3 times?
3 times, yeah.
How many people could do that?
Craziness. Yeah.
Probably only one guy. That guy.
Yeah. If you're looking at the screen right now, just look at the weather conditions, the wind blowing, the snow, the balls just kickers trying to hit some field goals before the game. Wow. Crazy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Amazing. Before the weekend started, the Ravens were first in the conference. They went from first to third with a very dramatic 2019 division loss to Pittsburgh. They came up and scored that touchdown right at the end. And instead of going for the single point to tie it and send it to overtime, they decided to go for two. John Harbaugh decided we're going for a 2-point conversion to win this. I don't really want to stick around any longer. I'm done. Want to go and have a beer. And he gave it the ball to Lamar and said, give it to Andrews. We got this. Unfortunately, they didn't block TJ Watt. He came in. Lamar had to throw it a little early, just out of the outstretched fingertips of Mark Andrews. And Pittsburgh pulls off the huge upset win. Crazy. I was shocked that they decided to go for two and get the win there. I think they would have won in overtime, but what did you think of the move?
Gutsy call by a gutsy coach. It's hey man, it's either I get all the accolades or I'm the villain. You know, like it's one or the other if you go for it like that. Yeah. And I'll give him credit. Hey, it took him guts to go for that, where he goes, I'm gonna go for it all. I want it all right now. Yeah, and you lost, but you know. It happens. It happens.
It was ballsy, that's for damn sure. But yeah, I was quite surprised. He said his whole entire secondary was decimated with injuries, and he was worried that if Pittsburgh had the ball in overtime, they'd just be able to easily march down there and get the winning touchdown. And he thought this was his best chance, but it didn't turn out that way. And these two coaches, John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, have faced each other 30 times now, and that is the third most of all time between two head coaches to face each other. And Tomlin now holds a lead with 16 wins to Harbaugh's 14 out of the 30 games. This has been a great rivalry for many, many, many years. Super fun, hard-nosed football. Love it. I can't wait for Steelers, Ravens year after year. And this one went right down to the end as usual.
Yes, it did. And that's the way that these two teams play each other, always right down to the end. The surprising thing for me, though, was that the Ravens lost this game despite controlling the ball for 37 minutes of this game. Yeah. Like 37 minutes of ball control, and they still lost. Yeah. Super surprised at that.
No kidding. Yeah. Freeman was good. Lamar was good as always. And but yeah, Big Ben, decent game, 236 yards, a couple touchdowns. His favorite target was Deontay Johnson, who had the 2 touchdowns, 8 catches, 105 yards. Najee Harris is busy as usual, 21 carries, 5 catches, and Minkah Fitzpatrick with the huge pick. That seemed to be one of the biggest differences and helped solidify the win.
Yeah, that definitely was a huge difference maker with that pick, getting that pick and changing around the composition of the game.
Yeah. Okay, another team in the AFC that's sitting on top of their division, also 8-4, top of the AFC West finally after really a tough start this year, the Kansas City Chiefs. They squeaked out a 22-9 win Sunday nighter against the division rival Denver Broncos. Really a not great game from the Colts offense, but the Chiefs offense, but their defense was really key and crucial, pulling out this victory for them.
Yeah, their defense really stepped up. There was only one player off of the Broncos that they couldn't really stop, and that was Williams.
Yeah.
He had a monster game. That dude had a monster game.
Yeah.
23 carries, 102 yards, 6 receptions, 76 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That was the one dude that they couldn't stop, but they stopped everybody else. And guess what? It was enough for them to beat the Broncos.
Yeah, it sure was. It was crazy, but yeah, really low numbers for Mahomes. You really don't see him have only 184 yards passing and no touchdowns. Kelsey was held in check, 3 catches for 27 yards, and Tyreek Hill only had 2 for 22. Yeah, really shut down. But Chiefs defense has been horrible for the last couple seasons, but I think they finally figured it out and put it together.
Yeah. Their defense has looked better and better over the last couple of weeks, and they just continue to keep improving. As long as they continue on this trajectory, it's looking good for the Chiefs, who've now climbed their way back to the top of the AFC.
Yeah, it's looking good for them now. Yeah, they finally have put it together, it looks like. Chiefs host the Raiders next on Sunday, and the Broncos host those victorious Lions. Fresh off first win in a year. Should be tough, eh? Should be really tough.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be barn burner.
Okay, there was a battle for the 6th place in the AFC. That was between the LA Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals. It was close, 24-22 until a pick 6, and LA ended up running away with it 41-22. Improved the Chargers to 7-5, putting them into the 6th position, dropping Cincinnati to 7-5 and into the 7th place. This was a fun game. Herbert had a great game as usual. Mike Williams was good. Austin Eckler had a good game, even though he had 2 fumbles. Keenan Allen had a couple TDs. Looks like the Chargers were firing on all cylinders and got a nice big blowout win, even though it was close for quite a bit of the game.
Yeah, and also too, the Bengals let this game slip away from them by letting the Chargers score the first 24 points of said game.
Wow.
So yeah, and they had to battle back. They made it close, but it just wasn't enough. They didn't give themselves a chance to really win this game, as in my opinion. Burrow did all right, 24-40, 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. It just the Chargers were the better team on this particular night. Better team by far.
Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. That was a great run through the NFL, talking about all the playoff teams. Chargers host the Giants on Sunday, and the Bengals host the Niners going into week 14. Man, does it fly? Has it ever flown by?
Yes, it has. It has. It's gone by really quick, but it just seems like this year has gone by quick, which is a good thing considering everything that we've all gone through.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good riddance 2021. Let's hope 2022 we can get rid of this pandemic and get back to some normal life.
Oh man, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Okay, well, that's the NFL for now. Let's talk about the UFC event. We had a great fight night, UFC Vegas 44, with the main event between Jose Aldo, the greatest of all time featherweight former champ, and Rob Font, 2 guys in the top 5 in the bantamweight division. A battle to get up there and get yourself a title shot. Probably one more fight and you're in. Jose, the old veteran, sure proved that he is the better fighter between the two. Yeah, two judges had him winning all 5 rounds. One had him 4-1, and this was a really, really incredible performance from the old veteran there.
Yeah, it was. And this was a huge step up in competition for Rob Font. It was the fight to see whether he was able to take that next step.
Yeah.
But against a guy that is upper echelon always in his division. It doesn't matter what division he's fighting at. He's always going to be right at the top because he's Jose Aldo. And unfortunately, Rob Font wasn't up to the challenge on this particular night. Jose Aldo showed that he still got it. He's still relevant, and he's still really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Sure is. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. 3 knockdowns, was able to get some takedowns, dominate all over. Just really dismantled him. He was holding back his kicks early, but once he started forcing them, he really changed Font's attack and getting some big knockdowns. I was just blown away. I wasn't expecting it to be that dominate of a one-sided performance. Font comes in at number 4 ranked in the division, Aldo number 5, but his 4-fight win streak ends. Aldo's got a 3-fight win streak now and should be moving forward. He called out TJ Dillashaw. He said, we're the 2 guys that need to fight before we fight either Peter Yan or Aljamain Sterling, who's ever going to win out of those 2. I really look forward to a Dillashaw Aldo fight. I think that'll be fantastic.
Oh no, that would be a great fight. Fantastic fight to get with 2 veterans that are at the top of their sport still as we go through. So that would be a fantastic fight. And also too, I just want to point out against Aldo against Font, clearly had the power advantage because he hurt Font numerous times in this fight.
Yeah.
Numerous times. And I think he had Font guessing, especially when he got to the 3rd round, where all of a sudden he started throwing those unseen, like almost forgotten leg kicks, started taking out his lead leg.
Yeah.
Just the way that he fought that fight, although was master class. I think he had him guessing throughout the entire fight of what he was going to do.
Yeah, it was a fun fight. I love the bantamweight division. A lot of really great, talented guys in that division, and I'm glad to see that Aldo's still there. He took a few bad losses in that featherweight division, and a lot of people started saying he's washed up, over the hill, time to retire. And I was always like, no, I don't think so. I think this guy's just needs to change the weight class. I think he won't be as depleted and things will be great. And boom, he's really shown great form since he's been in this bantamweight division. And I think if he can beat Dillashaw, which I think is a real possibility, I think he will be the next in line for the title shot.
Yeah, I can't see a reason why he wouldn't. I just can't. And I hope that the UFC makes that fight happen. They should, number one, because Jose Aldo asked for it. That should be enough.
That's true.
For them to make the fight.
Very good point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If a legend asks, just grant it to him and make it happen. So, and I'm sure Dillashaw would be game. A lot of guys have been calling him out since he came back from his drug suspension, but I think he'd be game for anybody.
Oh yeah, I think so too. He usually doesn't turn down any challenges coming his way, and that would be a major challenge coming his way.
Yeah. Just so you know, Jason, the Golden State Orlando game is on. It's on NBA TV if you want to switch it over and keep it in the background. They were winning by 20 last time I saw, and Golden State's reeling a tiny bit, losing 2 out of the last 3, but I think they'll be able to handle the Magic tonight. So.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, the co-main event you said would be fight of the night. Sure was an amazing battle. Riddell and Fiziev, both very, very, very talented lightweights, and it looked quite even. Maybe Fiziev a little bit more. He just looked a little more fluid in his movements, and then finally saw Riddell moving to his right and threw a wheel kick that stunned Riddell. Basically, he just was looking around like, okay, what the hell just happened there? And that was over. The fight was over. Fiziev is one tough guy, and that sure connected and finished that fight really, really quickly and easily for him.
Yeah, he's he's such a gifted striker. He's clearly, for me, one of the best strikers in the UFC. And the one thing about this fight that I noticed between, like, just their composure in the octagon, Riddell seemed tight and Fiziev was calm.
Yeah.
And I think that was another thing that was abundantly clear to me, was just Fiziev's approach, which is been here before, done that, not nervous, not worried.
Yeah.
But you could tell that Riddell was definitely thinking about the immensity of the moment for this particular fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Yeah, you're right. He was definitely seemed stiff, didn't seem like fluid like Fiziev. And it definitely showed as the fight wore on. These guys were teammates. Riddell was the coach at Tiger Muay Thai, decided to eventually move away from there, and Fiziev took over that job. And they were really not wanting to fight each other, but when the UFC said that's your next opponent, they said, okay, let's make this happen. And obviously some very talented guys coming out of that Tiger Muay Thai, and great to have those guys as coaches. And quite the progression. They went from Riddell to Fiziev, and I can see Fiziev making his way up that lightweight ladder to the point of being a champ one day.
Yeah, he's got the skill set. He's got the tools, especially when it comes to the stand-up. His stand-up is second to none. It really is.
Oh.
And he caught a guy in Riddell who's really good at stand-up himself. Really good.
Oh.
And he caught him in a way that you just don't see too often. As he's moving to his right, hits him with a wheel kick. Who else can do that?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Who else can do that?
No,
Not many.
It was super impressive. Not many at all. That's his fifth straight victory. Charles Oliveira has 9 wins in a row, and so does Islam Makhachev. That's the longest streak in the UFC right now. Beneil Dariush has 7, and Fiziev has 5. So elite company that he's in. Sanford MMA, he's a part of right now, and I love calling that camp out because Henry Hooft and those guys have been just bringing in killers into the cage week after week after week. And his call out was pretty funny. Vince Vaughn, you want to get in here? Let's go. And Vince was like, okay, all right, thanks a lot. I've never heard a UFC fighter call it an actor yet, but this first time for everything, I guess.
You know what? I think Fiziev must have saw that movie Bruised, right? So I think he must have saw that Halle Berry, I guess, can beat up Shevchenko. That really happened. So yeah,
right.
Vince Vaughn, it's your turn next.
Yeah, that would have been great if you would have been able to get him to come up into the cage. That would have been super fun. But there's always celebrities cage side. I've never heard somebody call one of them out. That's the first for me. And I hope not a last. I would love to see some of these guys get called out when they come to watch.
No. It was fun. It was fun. He was having fun with it, and it's good to get the crowd involved.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, let's talk about the light heavyweight battle between Jamal Hill and Jimmy Crute. Sweet dreams put Jimmy Crute to sleep. Man, I couldn't believe how quickly this was over with. They were both coming off some pretty horrific injuries, and you just weren't sure what was going to happen. But Hill just put a quick end to Crute's night. 2 knockdowns. Closed his eye off one of the shots. He barely even saw what shot that was, and he looked amazing.
Yeah, Hill's arm looks like it's fully healed.
Yeah.
It's good to go.
Yeah.
Like it was just good to see that both of the fighters were healed up and they were good to go. But Jamal Hill looked, I don't even know where to begin. That was super impressive.
Yeah.
Hit him with a step-in right hook and pretty much shut his lights out. And that was it. That was it. Finished him in the first minute of the first round. I did not expect that fight to end in that way, shape, or form at all.
Yeah, well, he was, had a long recovery. His dislocated arm from Paul Craig. It was flopping around and the referee didn't even notice it. We thought it was broken. You and I thought it was broken the way he had maneuvered it, and then suddenly it was flopping around like a fish on his stomach, and somehow he's been able to come back from it. And yeah, it doesn't look like he missed a beat. Those shots were accurate, lethal, hard, great to see. I hate to see tough injuries like that, and I'm glad he's been able to totally recover from it.
So am I. I thought there might have been some lasting damage from something like that, but good to see that there isn't.
Yeah, very good to see. Yeah, great. Can't wait to see him again. It was not enough. I really would love to see him in another big fight. Jimmy Crute coming off a loss against Anthony Smith, where his leg just deadened. He couldn't walk on it anymore. That was another really weird injury, and I didn't notice any compromising from that leg injury on his part. Even though he didn't last long, it didn't look like he had any troubles walking at first.
No, well, not at first. Later, yes, but not at first. And I think when he got hit with that leg kick by Anthony Lionheart Smith, he must have hit a nerve, because it just shut off like his use of the leg, literally. Like he just couldn't use the leg anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so Jamal Hill had some couple of cool call-outs. I really liked him calling out Johnny Walker and also Paulo Costa. Both those guys would be great. Costas has said that he can't make that weight anymore and will be moving up in weight. I don't know if they would make that right away for Costa, but what do you think of the call-outs that he made?
Great call-outs. Fantastic call-outs. Like really, really well thought out call-outs. And yeah, you might as well go for a big fish, which is Costa, who's going to be moving up. To a weight division that I'm going to say that he should have been in the first place.
Yeah.
I still have no idea how he made 185. Yeah. You see how big that man is? I don't know how he did that, even now.
Isn't it? I know, yeah. I saw a social media post from Costa today. He said he was kicked off a United Airlines flight this weekend, and he will sue the airline now. He said he didn't do anything wrong. The flight crew was being very rude to him, and for no reason at all, just booted him off the plane. I find that hard to believe that immediately they would just target him, kick him off, but maybe some details will come out over the next coming days. But a long rant on social media about getting booted off a flight.
Odd. They usually just don't, target a person to kick them off.
No.
If he's not doing anything like wrong. Like he was just sitting in your chair, minding your own business, and they say, "Hey, you in that chair, mind your own business." You're out. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What just happened? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more to the story.
I think in the history of flights, that's probably never really happened. So
no.
I find it hard to believe. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully more details emerge. But yeah, he really was very angry and said, "Do not ever fly on United Airlines again," and was throwing a lot of barbs their way, saying a horrible airline and treated him terribly and blah 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 blah. So yeah, maybe I'll give an update next podcast, and we'll hopefully get a few more details of this that happened to Costa. Okay, why don't we talk about one of the best comebacks I've ever been witness to in this fight. Leonardo Santos had the victory in his grasp against Clay the Carpenter Guida. I thought today I'm going to watch this fight and I'm going to count how many strikes that he threw in this first round on Guida's body and head. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be almost triple digits the amount of shots that Guida took. And for some reason, he weathered the storm. And then that was it. Santos was done. He had just completely blew his wad. He had no energy left. And Clay ended up getting the rear naked choke victory. But this was one of the biggest comebacks that I have ever witnessed.
The thing I was most impressed by for this particular fight was the referee.
Yeah.
I believe it was no nonsense. Keith Peterson was the one on this.
Nice.
And he gave Clay all the rope he needed. Like, he gave him everything, every chance he could possibly imagine. Also, too, I believe Keith Peterson knows that how tough Clay is.
Yeah.
And he gave him that. He gave him that.
Cool.
Seeing the shots that he was taking, going, that's not enough to put this particular man out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
And he was right to let it go. Very, very, very good refereeing on his part.
Yeah, it doesn't happen much these days. Guy gets in a little bit of trouble. Boom, they just step in and call the fight. But yeah, Guida's, been in an amazing amount of wars. He's actually in the Hall of Fame for his Diego Sanchez fight war that he had years ago. And great to see an old veteran like this. He turns, I think it's this Wednesday, he turns 40 years old, and he had his family there. He had his brother there. He had quite a bit of support, and he's a guy that has an amazing amount of cardio, and this really paid off for him here. When you have that great of cardio, you can withstand a lot of punishment and still keep fighting.
Yeah, he uses that as a weapon, which is what it is. And he knew. It's like, oh, Santos tried, failed, and now he's done. Like, he was literally out on his feet. Super done. Yeah. And on top of that, Guida sinks in a rear naked choke against a jiu-jitsu specialist at his level.
Yeah.
Which would naturally never happen if he isn't that tired.
Yeah.
Never would he get that.
Santos was on a huge roll, 12-1-1 in his last 14 going into this. He had the highest takedown defense in UFC lightweight history. Really hard guy to beat on the ground. Black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and other disciplines. But yeah, just Guida just proved that, yeah, he still got it. I was looking at Guida's record, and he's beat BJ Penn, Rafael dos Anjos, Nick Diaz, Anthony Pettis. Just amazing amount of incredible fighters that he's fought in his career, and great to see him go. But Keith Peterson, yeah, he deserves a big clap, a big thank you, because most referees would have stopped that much before that, and we would have never seen a comeback like that.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like they would have been wrong, but for this particular instance, they definitely would have, because he still had more to give. He still had way more to give. So, yeah, great refereeing on his part.
So great. Yeah, really, really great. Okay, why don't we talk about Chris Curtis with the huge victory here over Brendan Allen. He has won 6 times in 2021, 2 times in the UFC and 4 times previous before he started. He came in, he was the underdog, but got the huge victory and looked great. Wobbled Allen and just put it on him. Herb jumps in to stop the onslaught. It was a super impressive performance by Curtis.
Yeah, it was. Brendan Allen is no joke, but Curtis just keeps finding a way to win. I want to say that he's got some sneaky power to him. I think it's power that his opponents just don't expect him to have, but he has it in spades. When he cracks Allen kind of stiffened up. He went, what's going on? My body. And then Curtis followed that up, took his time, took him out.
Yeah.
Very dominant win by Curtis.
I loved his knockout of Phil Hawes, and then this one, yeah, he's really he's blowing a lot of people away. Got into the UFC at 34 years old, much older than a lot of guys, and 2-0, 6 wins in 2021. Not many mixed martial arts fighters at upper levels are going to be able to say they got 6 victories in a year like that.
No, no, not at all. Like that is impressive. It's impressive just alone for him having 6 fights in a calendar year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, incredible. Okay, the fight that started off the main card was Alex Morono against Mickey Gall. I predicted Morono would take this. Mickey Gall has just 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss. Never been super impressed with his performances. He came in with a lot of hype, beating CM Punk and a couple of other guys early on, but Morono was by far, to me, the better man on this night.
Yeah, by far, in a way, he was the better man, better striker. He just took his time with Gall because he knew that Gall's real chance of winning this fight was by taking him down. Yeah. So if his takedown defense was on point, all he had to do was just beat him up on his feet, which is what he did. Yeah. He's a better striker.
That was his 10th octagon win. Looking great. Great White is a force. Dedicated the fight to his dad. His dad was cage side and looked very, very emotional when he made the call out. He said, "Hey, when we were kids, my dad would watch UFC, and all of a sudden one day I said, I'm gonna be there one day, and here I am." And it was a pretty cool family moment that we witnessed there.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was very cool that his father was there because I believe he said this would be one of the last times his father could travel. Don't know if that's due to a medical condition, but always great to have your parents there to see you win in the octagon, which is what Morono had. So it was great to see them share that moment together.
Yeah. Okay, the feature fight of the prelims was Dusko Todorovic against Maki Pitolo. And I showed you the injury that Todorovic suffered. He was run over by a car late this summer and has been trying to recover from it. He decided to keep it hush hush and didn't let anybody know about it. Still was able to come out and take the victory over Maki Pitolo, get the TKO win late first round. Man, that injury was nasty, and I can't even believe that he would be able to recover from that so quickly and be able to come in and get a victory in the UFC with it.
It's amazing. Once you showed me what his foot looked like, which was, I don't know, hamburger, you forget how tough these men and women are. But that's ridiculous. Like, if I suffer an injury like that, I'm in the hospital. I'm not gonna go into the octagon to fight somebody.
Yeah.
That is not what I'm doing. Like, when he took off that wrap, I couldn't believe the severity of his injury. I couldn't believe, because let's be honest here, if the UFC had known, there is no way they let him fight.
No.
None, zero way.
Yeah, he should have probably let them know, and they would have postponed it for a bit. But he said he didn't want to miss the payday and didn't want to, cause any problems and have this postponed. So, man, crazy tough. I couldn't believe the shape of his foot. It looked so brutal. Really crazy that he was able to get this big victory. I feel a bit sad for Maki Pitolo, the great Hawaiian. Looks like he probably will get cut. He lost recently to Impa Kansagane, who was just released from the UFC. He was 2-2 in the UFC, and for some reason they still cut him loose. Pitolo has run into a bit of a string of bad luck here. Hopefully, if he does get cut, he can go back to the regional circuit, do well, and get another opportunity. But Yeah, kind of sad to see. It looks like his UFC career will be done for now.
Yeah, it is sad, but hopefully he can make his way back because he's an exciting fighter. Love watching the guy fight. He comes out to win and he throws bombs.
Yeah. Okay. Love the flyweights. So happy they didn't get rid of the flyweights. This Manel Kape against Zalgas Zumagulov. Man, Kape, whew, is he great? Man, he just was relentless with shots on Zumagulov and just dropped him first, went at him, just kept hitting him constantly, shots up against the cage. When he dropped him for a second time, Keith Peterson jumped in and stopped the fight. Man, Kape looked really, really, really strong in this one.
The hands looked sharp and they looked extremely fast, like a machine gun fast. Like when he started going off against him up against the cage, it was combo after combo after combo, and it was not going to stop. Keith Peterson did Zumagulov a favor by stopping that fight because it was about to get ugly, real ugly.
Yeah. Super confident guy, calls himself Starboy, best fighter in the division. He made weight this time, so he's eligible for his 50K bonus. Been having some troubles at that weight class making weight, but I was able to get there this time, and back-to-back wins, another first round KO. Look out to division. This guy's on a hunt, and he's looking super strong.
Yeah, he's looking great. He's as any fighter, self-proclaimed best fighter in the division, but he came in with a lot of hype, and so now maybe he can start living up to said hype.
Yeah. Okay, the Brian Barberino Darian Weeks fight was fun. Darian Weeks was making his UFC debut. Barberino was supposed to fight Matt the Immortal Brown. He had to pull out. It was a close fight. I think Weeks did quite well in his UFC debut, but Bam Bam was a little bit better on the evening.
Yeah, I would say that Bam Bam was a little bit better. Weeks made a good showing for himself. Barberino, being the UFC vet that he is, knew when to turn it on, how to turn it on, how to win those close rounds, and very close, but edge definitely goes to Barberino in this.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, the fight that ended up getting fight of the night, 50K bonus to both fighters, was the women's strawweight fight between Cheyenne Bays and Mallory Martin. This was a banging fight between these two girls. It went to a decision for Bays. I was a little surprised that they both got the 50K, but what did you think of that one?
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised, but the women really banged it out. They put on a great fight. I thought that how do you say her name? Blaze? Anyways, Bays.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that. Bays. I thought she was a better striker. All in all, better foot movement, better side to side movement. Just her feet, way better than what Martin had going on there. Better combos thrown, and just better stand up period. And then that was really the difference in this fight.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I agree with all of that. Okay, this light heavyweight fight between Knight and Menefield, William Knight against Alonzo Menefield. Two really incredible physical specimens. Loved watching these guys get at it. Knight pulls out the decision. What did you think of that one?
I thought that this was a fight between two monsters. Like these guys are so huge. There's just these huge monsters. Oh. And either one of these guys can shut the other's lights out at any point in time. I was surprised that the fight actually made it to the decision. I was really surprised at that. But William Knight, he did enough to beat Menefield. I thought he was the busier fighter, which helped. And also too, took his time taking advantage of the spots in the fight that he could, pushed them up against the cage, positioning that he had throughout the course of the fight. And Metafield just wasn't busy enough, in my opinion. And then that's how Knight won the fight. Knight was the busier fighter throughout the course of this fight.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The only other fight I just wanted to mention was Morales Smolka. Louis Smolka ended up getting a tie clinch on Morales and trying to bring him in close to get him, feed him a couple knees, and Morales just broke through with a big right overhand, and boom, Smolka just fell down like a sack of potatoes, and the fight was over. Great way to get out of a tie clinch by just throwing a shot like that.
Yeah. Great way of doing it, by knocking out your opponent and winning the fight. Yes, perfect. Textbook.
Yeah, no, that was a hell of a shot. It was pretty incredible. Dana White was quite generous with his bonuses. He gave out 5 bonuses, plus he also said that he was going to give Aldo and Font some bonuses that were off the books. And I didn't go into details on that, but he said they deserved it as well. So he gave Clay Guida a $50K bonus. That is his 10th performance bonus in a Hall of Fame career. The other bonuses went to Fiziev, Jamal Hill, Chris Curtis, and as I mentioned, the female Cheyenne Bays and Mallory Martin. So yeah, good for them. They all get 50K. Great fights all around. I think there's a couple of news and notes I want to mention with the UFC. Diego Sanchez has COVID, and they say that he's in severe trouble, hospital, and he might not make it. They say, yeah, he is in serious ICU. I have a little bit of, I think I have a little bit of details, but he has pneumonia really bad. He has blood clots throughout his body. He is unvaccinated and is clinging for his life in the hospital. Really tough. A lot of mixed martial artists and UFC veterans have reached out and gave their well wishes to him, but yeah, really sad news. I mentioned Diego with his legendary Hall of Fame fight with Clay Guida, but yeah, let's send some prayers and good thoughts to Diego. Hopefully he can make his way out of this COVID mess.
Yeah, we don't ever want to see anybody be affected like this to this extent by COVID, and pray that the man can get through this and doesn't lose his life over it.
There was a post on his Twitter feed, and I'm not sure if he posted it or one of his friends or family. He said, "This has been the fight of my life. No fight camp or opponent has ever dominated me like this. It's been a long fight last night, and I think maybe I finally won a round this past evening with the help of my corner, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, and many candles and prayers lit in the hearts of all my loved ones. Hopefully I can make it through." But yeah, as I said, rough to hear. I'm saddened that he didn't decide to get vaccinated. Hope that's not a huge factor on one of the reasons why it's hitting him so bad.
Hope not. You never know until you know, but this experience, if he gets through it, may enlighten him to get the vaccination shot.
Yeah,
we'll see. Yeah. We shall see. But first, he's got to get past this.
Yeah, exactly. Very funny week. Khamzat Chimaev has just started calling out everyone and anyone. The two guys that he's called out recently. I'm not really sure why. Brock Lesnar and Daniel Cormier, two retired heavyweights. He's just deciding to just throw it out there to everyone. Retired guys and heavyweights. Why is he making these call outs?
I think he just wants to put his name out there. So he's just going to call out everybody. He should just call out the entire roster. UFC roster. I call out everybody. That's what he should just do. That would probably be more effective to what he's trying to do. But the ones that he did call out that I thought were that garnered some attention and some people responding back was Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor. Interesting.
Yeah.
And they actually responded. Interesting. So
yeah. Well, Dana White said that Nate Diaz wants no part of him. Why would he? He said, no, it's not big enough payday. And, the guy's just a killer right now. Why bother? So he doesn't blame him, but he doesn't think that Nate wants any part of him. Not sure about Connor, who Connor wants, but he's sure looking jacked these days. And I think he's recovering quite well from this broken leg.
Yeah. I saw a picture of him. I think he was weighing in at 190.
Jesus. Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's put on a little bit of size. He's put on a little bit of size.
I don't think he can fight at 170 though. I think the people would be too big, even though he's muscular and quite jacked. I just don't think size wise he would match up well with maybe very many 170 pounders.
Yeah, that's why he fights that's why he has to fight at 155 and then 145. Well, we saw what that did to him. That was way too much. He can't fight at 145 either. I think 155 is his happy medium. And yeah, I agree with you. 170, those guys are a little too big. I think that's why Masvidal calls him the midget or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Uncle Dana got COVID, said he went to Dr. Rogan and got all the medication he needed and recovered real quick. What'd you think when you heard about that news?
Well, I guess if you're going to go to anybody, I'd go to Joe, since he's taking that stuff for horses. So yeah, hey, if it works, it works. He goes to somebody that he trusts. And I know that Joe Rogan has done his research on COVID. Obviously, he has a lot of time. I think that Spotify money that he got for his podcast really helped in that respect. But yes, it worked. He got over it. He's good. And also, too, Uncle Dana is double vaccinated. So it was never going to hit him too hard. Clearly didn't. He's good to go.
Yeah, good to go. Good to go. Glad to see that. Khabib Nurmagomedov just announced that he was offered massive money to fight Money Mayweather in 2020. They threw out tens of millions of dollars for him, and he decided to turn that down. That would have been that would have been awesome, but he's never really been the stand-up guy like Connor was. I think it would have been probably not the greatest matchup.
No, I think that was a smart move on his part. He knows what his capabilities are, and they're not in the stand-up, and they're certainly not in boxing, not to that extent anyways. So yeah, that was a smart, astute business move on Khabib's part. Can't do that.
Speaking of boxing, Tommy Fury pulled out of the fight with Jake Paul, and now supposedly we've got Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul 2. Any interest in this?
Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's good. That's good stuff. Unfortunately for me, no interest until, like I've said to you before, he decides to fight a real boxer. When he decides to do that, I'll tune in. Until then, this is just exhibition nonsense. So good stuff.
Yeah, forget it. Yeah. Yeah, especially with Woodley, the way he fights now. I got no interest. I'm not going to tune in. I'm not going to get sucked in. No, you can't suck me in. Okay, we're less than a week away from a phenomenal card, UFC 269. Reservations we have together to watch this. Can't wait. The days are counting down. We've got 2 title fights on the way. Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier. To me, this could be one of the best fights in our lifetime.
Yeah, I am super looking forward to this fight. I think it's out of all the fights on this card, on the prelim cards, this is the fight I'm looking forward to the most, because this is between two veterans in the UFC that have fought for so freaking long to get to this point.
Yeah.
Both of them have. And now that Oliveira actually has the belt and Poirier wants the belt, these guys are going to put it all on the line to see who's the better man at the end of the night.
Yeah.
I am super excited. I cannot wait for this fight. Yeah.
I'm super excited. Yeah, I think both these guys are at the pinnacle of their career, and it's so nice to see. Too often in boxing, we saw guys at the pinnacle and they wouldn't fight each other, but I'm so happy the UFC is making this happen. Poirier took a little shift away from getting the title and going after Conor, getting a big payday, but now he wants the belt, and he wants to prove he's the top man in that division. And but man, Oliveira just a steady climb up the ranks, and finally up to the upper echelon after so many years at it. Incredible career, and he has been phenomenal lately. And yeah, I mean, I don't think, very often we can say 2 guys at the absolute pinnacle of their careers, 2 of the best of all time facing each other. I can't see how this couldn't turn out to be an incredible fight.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, these guys are at the pinnacle of their careers. Dustin Poirier is at the height of his powers. Charles Oliveira is one of the most technically savvy fighters on the UFC roster, period. He's at the height of his powers. It's going to be a fantastic fight. Maybe possibly legendary in the scope.
Okay, the co-main event, probably not as much. Amanda Nunes, we've talked on this podcast on dozens of occasions that Nunes is the greatest of all time, and really doesn't have any peers other than Valentina Shevchenko. The next victim is Juliana Pena. Does she have a shot? Does she have a puncher's chance even on this?
No. I just no. I don't think she has it. She obviously has a firm grasp of like she feels, Pena, that she can beat Nunes, and I think she's the only person that feels that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see at any part where Pena can beat Nunes. Yeah. I don't see anywhere in the octagon that she could beat Nunes. I think, Pena's going to be lucky if she makes it to the second round.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's too bad, but yeah, Nunes is just so far and away better, and they keep throwing him up against her, and she just keeps knocking him down, and this will be another case of that as well. So it's too bad, but eventually somebody's going to come along, but it won't be Saturday night, I doubt. So okay, this welterweight fight between Jeff Neal and Santiago Ponzinibbio was actually jeopardized this past weekend as Jeff Neal was arrested. He was pulled over for driving under the influence and possessing an illegal handgun. They asked him to take a breathalyzer. He said he refused, and he said he wanted a blood test done. He said that he thinks that will prove his innocence. And so this fight will go ahead until this goes through the court system. This was a very surprising part of this that I heard today. A blood test will take between 6 weeks and 6 months to get the results back. And once they get the results back, they will be able to either drop the charges or proceed with the charges. Why would a blood test take 6 weeks to 6 months this day and age to get results? Insane.
That doesn't even make any sense. We just figured out like this whole figure out this pandemic thing within a year, right? So I would imagine that they could expedite the tests if they wanted to, but I guess they're not going to. And maybe it's more of an astute move on Jeff Neal's part so that he can do the fight and not have to worry about the results of this, whatever this is going to be, you know, because it was going to take time anyways to do the blood sample.
Well, hopefully he's right and he wasn't driving under the influence, and hopefully this can be dropped. Supposedly, and this is another weird aspect of it, they can only charge him with the illegal handgun if he was committing a crime. And so they said that driving under the influence is committing a crime, and so you're not allowed to carry a handgun no matter what. The handgun is legal as long as you're not committing a crime. So they can get twice as many charges if he blows over that limit or is over the limit with this blood test. So, but I'm glad this fight will still proceed forward. I think these two guys are going to come in. It's going to be a hell of a fight. And as I said, hopefully he is right in his assertion that he was not over the legal limit.
Yeah, and I hope so too, because his future is not going to look great if it's the other way going forward. But his fight with Ponzinibbio, definitely looking forward to that. That should be a barn burner of a fight.
Yes. What about this Kai Kara France and Cody Garbrandt fight? I have always looked forward to Cody Garbrandt's fights. It's interesting to see him falling down the ladder, not right up as one of the featured fights on a card anymore. But what do you think we're going to see in this battle?
Well, I think this is the first time that Cody Garbrandt is going to be fighting at this weight division. I think he's stepped down to fight. So number one, hopefully he doesn't have a problem getting down to said weight. Yeah. And it didn't deplete him to a certain extent. Right. And also too, I look forward to seeing like a just a better version of Cody Garbrandt going forward. And this is going to be a great test for him in Kai Kara France, who's got great stand up and is just a great fighter, period. So this will be a very good test for Cody, and to see how he stands up against a fighter of that caliber in this new division that he's trying out. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see the different body and see if he can start getting some victories again. He's lost 4 out of his last 5, so on a bit of a slide here, and not as dominant as he was. He was 11-0 before he took his first loss, and now has 4 losses on the record. So Sean O'Malley's fighting on this card. Always a fun guy to watch. Super confident in himself, very crazy style, and skinny as hell, but has a lot of power.
Yeah, he does. He really whips those kicks and those punches in, and he is quite the entertainer when he's in the octagon. So I expect some fireworks with him against his opponent.
And another champion on the prelims, Dominic Cruz against Pedro Munoz. Should be a heck of a battle. Josh Emmett, Dan Ige, probably fight of the night. We've got a lot of amazing fights to get together and watch this Saturday. Yeah, I'm looking forward to all of them. But most importantly, the fight that I definitely am looking forward to the most is the main event. Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's exciting. Okay, well, that's combat sports and the UFC coverage. Let's finish it off with some basketball as usual. And let's talk about the 2 games that the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors played against each other this past week. Two pivotal matchups, 1 victory each. Suns were dealt a big blow with Devin Booker getting hurt, but Probably nothing super serious, out for a few games. Warriors and Suns both sitting at 19-4, 3 games ahead of the other top teams in the league. And yeah, really playing some fantastic ball. It was great to see them battle each other. I really wish that Booker hadn't been hurt so we could get a proper gauge on the whole team. But what do you think of these 2 games?
I loved it. I loved the games because it for sure demonstrated that the fact that these two teams are the best teams in the NBA right now. Offensive efficiency, defensive pressure, they have it all, both these teams. And like for me, the first game where Steph wasn't shooting well, I'm like, well, that's going to change the next game. He's not going to have a couple games back to back where he shoots poorly. And that did change. And then also too, like, you look at these 2 teams, the way that they play, the way that they share the ball, it's a pleasure to watch. It's just, for me, it's the way that I've always thought basketball should be played with the way that they share the ball with their teammates, with one another.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Super fun to watch. And yeah, unselfish basketball is always really great, and it leads to open looks. I see Andrew Wiggins got a career high 8 3-pointers this evening, 28 points. Golden State's up 113-91 on Orlando, getting their 20th victory and out of first 24 games. I love it. They will play each other on Christmas Day next, so that'll be must-see TV. I'll be watching that for sure, and enjoying my my Christmas Day with a little bit of basketball as usual. But with the 2 top teams in the league facing off each other, it's going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. I'm super looking forward to that because Christmas Day is always like that. That's the NBA's day. They've got a bunch of great games that they put on for their fans, and it's good to have NBA basketball on as you're enjoying your Christmas with your friends and family.
Yeah. Okay, the other 2 teams in the Western Conference that are playing well right now are the Jazz and the Grizzlies. They've both won 4 games in a row and are streaking suddenly. 8-2 in their last 10 for the Jazz and 7-3 for the Grizzlies. Also 2 fun teams to watch. I love the Grizzlies. I think they're such an up-and-coming team, and John Morant came in there, Jaren Jackson, a lot of really solid players on that team. And 4 in a row, looking good, 4th in the conference.
And I believe one of those wins came against the Oklahoma Thunder, where they outscored them by 73 points. 73 points.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of basically not having another team to play against. So yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done by the Grizzlies. Well done.
That was an incredible game. Yeah. 152 points they laid on them, and I think they gave up 72 or something. So yeah, incredible performance. And NBA record there. Good point. There's teams at the bottom of the conference that are suddenly starting to look good. The Rockets were 1-16, and they've won 6 in a row. How have they turned this around?
Well, I guess their young kids are finally responding to whatever the coach wants them to do, which is win. So yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, hey, at one point in time, the Rockets have to get something right. They got to get something right, and this is it. This is their part of the season where things are beginning to click for this young squad, and they're incredibly young. I think they actually have the youngest roster in the NBA.
I think you're right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Spurs have won 4 in a row. They're coming on. They beat the Warriors last night, and that was pretty shocking. And Kings have won a couple in a row. So those teams at the bottom are suddenly becoming a bit relevant. Turning to the East, Nets are still number 1 in the East, but the Bulls are right on their heels. Just a half a game back. The Bulls have won 3 in a row. Unfortunately, I heard DeMar DeRozan went into COVID protocol today and will be missed for a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I think as we go along here, the teams and organizations are getting more and more used to the fact that every once in a while, the player is going to go down with COVID protocol. So on we go.
The Bucks are third now in the conference after wallowing near the bottom early on, 9-1 in their past 10, and they finally have pulled it all together. And I think it's just a matter of time before they will be top team in the East.
Yeah, well, I said before, they just have to wait for their people to get back from injury or from COVID protocol or from whatever the heck was going on. They just had to wait for their players to come back, and now that they have, well, would you look at the run that they're on?
Yeah,
expected.
Raptors have had a few great games lately. I was impressed by their latest performances. They are definitely undermanned, but yeah, scrappy bunch. Fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely fun to watch. They come with effort all the time. That's the one thing that they have. They may be outgunned, but they always give full effort in every game, and that's all you can ask for from the Raptors.
Yeah, well, starting to take shape. Nets, Bulls, Bucks, Heat, Hornets, Wizards, and Cavs in the top 7. And then the teams going for that play-in game, Celtics, Sixers, Hawks, and Knicks. Knicks are struggling a little bit, have lost the last 3. And just not as good as a lot of people predicted this year. I think a lot of people said that the Knicks would be up near the top of the conference, but sitting in 11th so far, a little bit of a surprise.
But unfortunately too, one of the players has not panned out, which is Kemba Walker. His minutes have greatly diminished. That knee of his that's always been giving him problems throughout his career has definitely raised its head, and looks like very much a diminished player from what he was.
Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, he was such a talent there, and all of a sudden, boom, knee injuries have really derailed his career, and it looks like, he probably is done. So tough on him, and he returned to New York, his hometown, but it hasn't gone well there for him so far. So okay, let's end this. It was fun to cover the NFL, the UFC, and combat sports, and the NBA as usual. Looks like the Warriors have pulled out a very comfortable win here, 124-95 in the last 30 seconds. I recorded this, so I plan to watch some of this after we end it. And I got to get something to eat too. I'm starving. Haven't eaten in a few hours, so got to go get some food.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the same thing. I'm probably not gonna get it though because I'm lazy, so I'm probably gonna Uber Eats it, and that'll be my thing.
All right. Okay, well, have a great night, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow, and let's have a great week ahead.
Yes, we'll see you tomorrow. You have a great evening, and I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Yay.
buddy. All right. Okay, good night.
Good night.
Okay. Thanks as usual for sticking through the lengthy Complete Sports Media podcast. I want to thank our partners and sponsors as always. Anchor FM, easiest place to make a podcast. Just go to anchor.fm and follow the instructions, and you can do what we've done here. I want to thank Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And V350 stick is something that you need if you're a player. Christmas time's coming too, so go online and purchase a stick for someone in your family that plays the game. I want to thank Pampas and Possibilities, designers of West Coast curated handmade pretty things that can go into your home, and Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. So thanks as always, and thank you so much for sticking in, and appreciate your support as always. Go to our website, completesportsmedia.com, and our parent site, completemedianetwork.com. tons of amazing content there, as always. So love you guys lots. Take care of yourself. Have a really great week ahead, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.